I think it is very much by chance that we didn't get big consequences, although I must say that I'm not so sure that we didn't get that. Because remember, in South Africa, reporting cybercrime or cyber incidents is not compulsory. So it may be that around the corner there's a big company who lost lots of information, who actually got encrypted. They got ransomed, and they paid the ransom. They got their data back, and they swept it under the carpet. So if we say that South Africa wasn't so largely hit, I would say how many were reported? And I've got the feeling lots didn't report it.
South Africa recently launched the cybersecurity hub. I'm sure those boys had a field day just trying to actually isolate and quarantine this little virus. My question to you is, how well did they manage that?
I went to their website and there wasn't a word about the virus. I'm very, very skeptical about the cyber hub as such because they just haven't got the capacity. And I think South Africa is going along the wrong route by, if you look at the cybercrime and cybersecurity bill, by creating about 4 of these computer incident response centers. We just haven't got the people. And I can tell you, I'm convinced that this so-called cyber hub, they didn't do anything about this. They just didn't have the skills to do anything about it.
We're hearing that the virus is actually mutated. What is the status of this virus?
That is as uncertain as anything else. And you can look at all type of cyber attacks. The moment somebody does something successful, there are lots of copycats out there to follow route. And we will see more attacks like this. You see, it is just the biggest way of making money at the moment. It has been claimed that if all the ransoms of all the systems that were ransomed paid the ransom, it's an order of $1 billion. And many companies in South Africa, and I've got some phone calls and emails saying, my system has been ransomed, what must I do? So it has happened in South Africa. It's kept under the carpets.
So what's the current damage that WannaCry has caused so far?
Well, let's just go back to the NHS in the United Kingdom. At the moment, it's been claimed that most of the hospitals are up and running again. But a lot of emergency operations had to be cancelled because the information, the data wasn't available. So some of those patients might have died, we don't know. Some of the other companies, like for example the German railways, they may have consequences in terms of a lot of their trains weren't on time. People lost their trips, people lost their flights because of the trips. So they made a lot of money, a lot of losses indirectly. So all these things putting together, I think there's a lot of emotional loss, there's a lot of financial loss, there's a lot of medical loss, there may be even some deaths, but the consequences, I tell you, is severe.
Now, you've got ongoing conflict in the world. You've got ISIS in one corner, you've got North Korea posturing its military threat. You also have alleged Russian interference within the American and French elections. Do you see WannaCry as a potential military weapon?
I don't think it's necessarily a nation state involved in here. But let's also be clear about that. I've got no doubt about it, that every one of the big nation states do have their arsenal of cyber weapons, which they can let loose tomorrow, and they can actually start a cyber war. Because what type of target will you attack in that case? You will not necessarily attack a hospital. You will attack the power distribution infrastructure of a country. You will attack their critical information infrastructure, like their water supply, or their aircraft, their air management system. So that's the type of critical information infrastructures that's running the economy and whatever it is of a country. That's what you will go for. I'm not sure this is the first step of a cyber war. I think this is still cyber crime. Not that it's less important, but it may be the same people. It may be that some nation state has rented these people or hired these criminals to do that, and that eventually they will hire them to do more things.
So what advice would you give South African citizens and big business in protecting their information?
I will say that the whole concept of cyber security, of cyber resilience in your company, is not a technical issue. Don't delegate it to your IT department. It is a corporate governance issue. The board of directors has got the accountability to make sure that their company stays healthy. And if their company gets sick because their clients' data are encrypted and their customers are getting upset, that is as important as when the money is stolen and fraud happens, which is their responsibility. So I think it's happening. It's happening all over the world. But in South Africa at the moment, I think the more in big companies, boards of directors can start realizing the buck stops with you. If the customers can prove negligence, that the board did not make sure that there were proper backups of the system, then they're going to lose their jobs. They're going to be personally accused and stand in the dock. Smaller companies, big problem. There's a report out by the South African government saying that about 60 or 70% of small businesses have an internet presence, and they exist because of their internet presence. So if that is taken off the air, they're going to go bust, and there'll be going to be job losses all over the country. And that report says that cybersecurity protection of these small companies are bad. They haven't got the money, and they haven't got the expertise. We need capacity in this country. And that's what we are doing at the moment at the University of Johannesburg by having a cybersecurity capacity building center. But government must take the initiative to say, let's think out of the box how we can create more capacity.